Can we turn it up? There we go. So this is called the Mashiach Nigun. So this is probably something you're not familiar with, but it'd be good to learn it. So we thought we would maybe sing with David. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 Good. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you for turning out for the first Let It Rot Shabbat. And as far as I know, there is no place in the universe that this has ever occurred before. This is a first. It's another CBH first, and maybe hopefully it will be a tradition. My name is Rick Stone, and I have with me Bill Witherspoon, Liza Marks, Faith Russler, and a host of other folks I'll introduce as we get the evening going. And so maybe take a moment, maybe just introduce yourself to somebody next to you. Some of you know each other, and some of you don't, and make a quick introduction.
Yeah, I was thinking that'd be good. Yeah, I was looking for it.
So, yeah, it's on the handout, which is over.
Yeah,
There's the
she's
handouts.
right.
You might want to grab a handout. Okay, we'll bring you back if we could. Yeah, more conversation later, hopefully. We will have a good onix, so there'll be plenty of time to talk and plenty of time to converse with the worms and other creatures. So why tonight? This is an interesting question. So we have a green team here in this synagogue. Most of you are probably aware of that. And we've been working hard on various issues that around sustainability for the synagogue and educating folks. And so it came up a few months ago, let's have an evening that's a green evening. And so we decided that we should celebrate the earth. And you know, in our tradition, we have lots of holidays and harvest kinds of holidays and planting kinds of holidays. They're all associated with some facet of the agricultural cycle. And the word Adamah, earth, it shows up about 225 times in our Tanakh, in our Bible. So the earth is something essential to the Jewish experience, but we never focus directly on the earth so much. It's always on the fruits of the earth and the planting things in the earth. So we thought, why not have an evening that actually celebrates the beauty and the power of this thing, Adamah, that's in our lives. And so hopefully this will become a tradition, and maybe we can do this over and over again. And I've come up with a name for this new holiday. And so the word for worm is tola'at. And the word for microorganisms, it's kind of the Hebrew there was never a name for microorganism in ancient Hebrew, so they've adopted it. It's mikrobim. So this is Hag Tolalat, the mikrobim. So this will go down as a new holiday, and soon congregations all over the world will be celebrating this day and bringing the earth and honoring the earth. So one of the other things that I wanted to share with you is there was a wonderful rabbi, Yohanan ben Bagbag. He was a disciple of Hillel, and he said, turn it for everything is in it. Now, he wasn't referring to the earth, he was referring to our Torah. And he said that the entire universe is contained within the Torah, and to access its wisdom, one must read it over and over, uncovering a new layer of meaning with each turn of the scroll. And if you were here for the celebration the other night for Simchat Torah, where we unfurled the whole scroll here in the room, it was quite an experience. So the Torah is much like a compost pile, and you could say that there's a lot of bad stuff in there, but I won't even use the word. But there are layers, and as you'll learn tonight about composting, is that for a good compost pile to be worked, it must be turned over and over again to aerate it and to let all the microorganisms do their work. And so it's a wonderful physical metaphor for the Torah. And so there's nothing like a healthy mound of rotting vegetables and fruits that get transformed almost magically into fertile soil. It is really, and those of you who've composted, have had that experience of just, it's really an amazing thing. And so we've been given this process for enriching the earth and keeping it healthy. And it's what sustains our lives. So when we think about turning, did everyone get a handout as you were coming in? Good. So we have this wonderful, I got one, I think. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I'll take one. And I'll share it with you. Yeah. So I thought we would sing, and of course, I've made a few modifications to the lyrics to make them fitting for tonight. So Bill's going to lead us in this wonderful melody that actually Pete Seeger originally wrote. It wasn't the Byrds made it famous, at least in our generation, but Pete Seeger originally wrote this lovely melody. So Bill.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. I should be a little lower. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to gather stones together, a time to compost our rotten vegetables. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace worms and other microorganisms. To everything turn. sun. Turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven.
Thanks, Bill. I think we'll probably be hearing that on Spotify soon. So Faith, if you would please lead us in a kind of an opening meditation and a kavanah for this evening.
So, as we honor Earth in this Let It Rot Shabbat, let's start out by connecting to this planet. I invite you to put both feet on the ground, settle your body, close your eyes, and breathe. Really feel the soles of your feet as they touch the floor, and then feel into the foundation of the building. And see if you can feel underneath it, to the topsoil of the crust of the earth. As Rabbi Jill Hammer says, respect the soil, these few inches of fertile dust that allow life to exist here. See if you can imagine and feel further into the next layers of the crust, and then the layers of the mantle, and finally to the center, fiery core, the heart of the earth. This beautiful planet supports us, allows us to breathe and thrive. Take a moment to honor her, our home. Gracious and loving God, your voice rose out of the darkness and brought forth light. In your glory, you created the heavens and the earth and filled it with life. Creator and ruler of the universe, you entrusted your world to us as a gift. Help us to care for it and all people, and for this land, this earth, this source of all life, that we may live in right relationship with you, with ourselves, with one another, and with the earth from which we were created. Amen.
Thank you, Faith. We're going to do that right now. Liza. Okay.
You wanted to invite
Yeah,
Liza?
Liza. We were going to invite some folks to come. Oh, whoops.
Come up.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
We were going to invite Mark and Maureen Goldman to light the candles. Okay. I know if you saw that in the rundown. Okay.
Yeah.
It's there.
Oh, Liza asks. Okay, gotcha. I just saw my name. Jump.
Okay. And then
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'hitzivanu lehadlich ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
if you go to page 12 in the prayer book, we're going to do Shalom Aleichem, led by
Okay.
Bill.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch hu Lila Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mil Melech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yadada, Setchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So I'd like to invite Nancy Kreisman. Do you have a copy of it, Nancy? You do, good, because I have one in case you didn't. If you could come up and share a poem with us. And here you can, I'll give you
And the title of it is Compost Happens. I like that. Let me turn around here. So, nature teaches us nothing is lost. It's transmuted. Spread between rows of beans, last year's rusty leaves, tamped down weeds. I wish they would, but they haven't. Coffee grounds and banana peels foster rose blooms. Breadcrumbs scattered for birds become song. Leftovers offered to chickens come back as eggs, yolks, sunrise orange. Broccoli stems and bruised apples fed to cows return as milk steaming in the pail, as patties steaming in the pasture. Surely our shame and our sorrow also return, composted by years into something generative as wisdom.
So you find you find Lecha Dodi on page 41. We're going to do the first verse on each page, and then we get to the last page. We'll do the last two verses there. Lecha Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachor v'dibur echad yishmi'anu el ha'miuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem ol tiferet b'lit hila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orek kumi uri. Uri, uri, shir daberi, kivot Adonai, alayich nigla, lecha Dodi, likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Page 47. Yamin u'smol tifrotzi v'et Adonai taharitzi. Al yadish ben parzi v'nis mecha v'nagila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabela Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala Gam b'simcha u'etzkola Toch emunei am segula Boi kala lecha dodi likrat kala V'nei Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala V'nei Shabbat nikabela.
Thanks, Bill. That was beautiful. So we're going to turn to page 49, which is the next page. And Bill will lead us in Tov Lehodot.
Tov lechodot l'Adonai ולשמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. יאי לי לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה יאי לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה יאי לה, לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה יאי לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה לה לה, יאי לה יאי לה, לה לה לה. טוב להודות לאדוני וזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות.
So if you will turn to page 55, Liza is going to lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish.
Do I stand up? Or do I stand or sit?
Do we stand with Hatzi Kaddish? Yes, we stand.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Yitkara v'yitkara shmei rabba. Ve'amad yivrach chirotei ve'yamlich malkutei. B'chayechon u'yomechon u'b'chaytecho beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'bizman kari, b'neiru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevora, le'olam olam le'amaya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yitala. Oops. Shmei dekudasha, brichu. Leila min kol birchata, shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, damiran be'ama, v'meru amen.
So you find the Baruch Hu on page 57, it says here, yes, 57. And it says here, face the ark, but a recent rabbi we had sort of taught us to think that we're facing east. Anybody know which way east is? Yeah, that's the same direction. That's good. That's where you put the ark. That's why it's there. Yeah. Yep. Okay, but just a test. Yeah. So which way? Where's the sun coming up in the morning, right? Oh, that way. Right, okay, good. Okay. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach leolam vaed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
You can be seated.
Just this. This is by Rhonda Nowak. The compost pile is a site of transformation, taking what has been cast off and returning it lovingly to the garden. We are all candidates for composting, so we cannot approach the compost heap without a feeling of connection and compassion.
Thank you. So if you'll turn to page 61, and we will do this lovely melody from Rabbi Rami Shapiro. Bill will lead us, please. Thank you.
Right. I'm not sure who's, someone's setting of his writing that's in the Siddur, but it's blanking. It was much more recent than the writing that he did that's in the
Oh,
Siddur.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too meek for meeting. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love, an unending love. Blessed are you, beloved one, who loves your people Israel. Amen.
Turn to page 65, and we're going to do the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'kol levakecha, v'kol nafsheka, v'kol meodecha, ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom alevavecha, ve'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivteka uvetecha, uvlekteka yaderech, ushokbeka ukumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, ve'ayula totafot beinenecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha.
If you turn to page 84 and 85, Liza will first lead us in reading the English, and then we'll do the Hebrew afterwards, Bishamru.
Let Israel's descendants keep Shabbat, making Shabbat throughout all their generations as an eternal bond. Between me and Israel's descendants shall it be a sign eternally. For in 6 days the fashioner of all made skies and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased and drew a breath of rest.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, od hi leolam, od hi leolam, od hi leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat v'toratam l'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam berit olam.
Thanks for the drumming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to move our way into the silent Amida, which starts on page 91. And Bill is going to lead us in the opening prayer. And stand if you are up to standing, and body or spirit.
Open my lips, beloved one, and let my mouth declare your praise.
Elizabeth, if you would come up and lead us in your handout, there is a prayer for the renewal of creation. And let Elizabeth lead us, and if you would read you can read along with her.
Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, in whose hand is the breath of all life and soul of every person.
Grant us the gift of Shabbat, a day of rest
from all our labors.
with
All of our senses, may we receive the glory of your works. Fill us with your goodness, and may we digest your great deeds. Strengthen us to become your faithful partners, preserving the world for the sake of future generations. May it be your will, our God and God of our ancestors, to renew your blessing for the world in our day, as you've done from the beginning of time.
So we've reached that wonderful time in our service with our Devar. And for those of you who are visiting, the Devar is like a sermon, but we have two guest speakers tonight. And it's a real pleasure to find people who are knowledgeable about composting in the earth, and especially worms. So I'd like to invite Cynthia. How would you like to stand or sit?
Whatever's best for you.
Well, maybe just stand, and I'll get the mic set up. Cynthia Jorgensen, she's a master gardener, and she's been working with vermiculture for many years, and she's going to, are you going to be able to do the...
Yeah, I'm just going to put the mic for her.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You
Okay,
got
you
it?
got
Okay. Give her, actually, if you could do the black one, just because it picks it up better.
Okay.
You want me to come over there? Or you want me to go over there?
You can go over there. Just go over there. Make it easy, yeah. And we got, you have the power?
Yeah, which one is it?
It's the vermiculture one, the first one, yeah.
And there is a handout if you want more information, and I brought samples.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be passing worms around shortly. Okay, no.
And worm dirt. I was told not to put the worms over there. So I'm talking about vermicomposting, and I want to thank you guys for inviting me, because you now have given me the best line. So when someone asks you for 2 truths and a lie, I'm going to say, I gave a worm talk at a Shabbat.
And no one will believe you.
So if we can do the next slide, this should be pretty obvious from what I'm talking about. So vermicomposting, verma means worms. So basically it's composting related to worms. It's actually considered a cold compost as opposed to the compost heaps that are hot compost. It's done with worms, most common red wigglers. There are about 6 species that you can use. Earthworms that you find in the soil are not good for vermicomposting. They actually need minerals in the soil. So the next slide, please. So you can make it or buy it. It actually can be quite expensive, as much as, this is like on sale from $50 for a couple of cubic feet. I think it varies with your, yes, where you buy it and whatever. So I make it. So what is involved next, please? There are 4 key components to vermicomposting. First, you need worms, a worm bin, bedding, and food. And I'm going to go over each of these just briefly. So next. So worms. You get worms mostly from online worm growers. I got a pound of worms from Nancy for my birthday. What do you give gardeners? Shit. Again, earthworms are not suitable. And you need about a half a pound to a pound per square foot of your bin surface. And I'm going to talk about bins in the next slide. So worm bins, there are two major kinds of bins. One is a hut. That's the hut that's actually in our laundry room, because the worms actually have to have a temperature between about 55 and 77, 80 degrees is ideal. So keeping them outside in the winter is not going to work. And then some people use just a plastic tote. I didn't want to do that because I like the idea of the cycling with the different trays, so the worms go up through the holes. Whoops. So if you go back one, yeah. So if you look at the side, you'll see that the hut has about 5 different trays, and you just keep cycling them so the worms will rise up to where the food is. And you'll fuss at your partner when she throws away the banana peels and doesn't save them for your worms. And if you talk to worm farmers, they'll say their worms have favorite foods. Bananas is mine. Yeah. So bedding. You use shredded newspaper, cardboard, so all of those boxes you get from online things works really well. Dried leaves or coconut shreds. And you want to have the bedding somewhat moist. The worms need some moisture in there. And it also covers the food. So you never have really a smell if you have that bedding on top. So you can see in that the middle is my worm bin with shredded newspaper on top. And the other one is just the bin that has newspaper. The bins are a little bit tricky because you have to sort of put some stuff on the side, and I just didn't want to deal with that. I like the idea of worms going through my different trays. It makes it quite easy to manage. So best food, basically anything that's in your kitchen, with the exception of they say to really minimize citrus and onions, but tea bags, banana peels, greens, shredded newspaper. Use eggs for a little bit of grit. That apparently helps them with their digestion and reproduction, or eggshells. Bread. You don't want processed food. So basically any scraps in your kitchen can be fed to worms. And so that's the list. No oils, processed food. So here's the result. And I have the results. I will pass them around. I have both worms as well as the dirt. You can see how fine it is. It has no smell. And so why do I do this? The next slide. This is an experiment that scientists did with growing beets with various percentages of vermicompost. So you have 0, 10, and 20. You can see the difference in the size of beets. And the next one shows that more is not necessarily better. So you can cap it around 20 to 30%, and you'll get wonderful plants. And that's what convinced me when I went to a Master Gardener talk. I was like, wow. So I got some worms from that talk, which was not enough, and then I got more worms for my birthday. And I was ending there. I can pass around the dirt and see if anyone has any questions.
So how do you harvest the worms? Could you tell us about that?
So I'll show you. Harvest the dirt.
The dirt, yeah.
So when they've pretty much eaten all the food, it looks like this with a few worms in there. And what you can do is you bring it outside. The worms do not like light, and you put little piles of dirt, and they will go to the bottom, and then I just pick off the top and get the worms below and put them in usually a bin like this, and put them in the next tray. So I'll pass this around. You'll see how fresh it is. These are the worms. They do not like light. So I was keeping them dark, but you can look and see how they're in their nice, happy dirt moving around. So I'll pass worms this way.
Yeah, Steve, you pass me the thing.
How long do worms survive?
They reproduce, so I've been doing this for about 5 years. I've given away a bunch of worms because they were multiplying so much. So I'm trying to think their life expectancy. I want to say it's a couple months, but they reproduce. Oh, the worms are in here. You'll find when I'm harvesting, there are little cocoons that I'll find, and sometimes I'll see really little tiny baby worms, so I know mine are happy and reproducing. The baby worms are like like about a thread size. They're asexual, so they just do their thing.
They're hermaphrodites.
Yeah. Yep.
It gets pretty hot and heavy there at night.
And yeah, and what's interesting about the worms and the soil is that it is a slow release fertilizer. So when you put fertilizer, if you don't have a time release fertilizer, your plants absorb what they can at the time, and then everything just sort of gets leached out. But the vermicompost is a very slow release, and you can't over fertilize your plants with vermicompost.
I used it for the shrubs in the front here, so they should, and they were looking really thank you.
Right.
There's a great debate in our house about what kind of leaves you can shred and put in the compost. Do you have an opinion on that?
They say they should be basically brown so that they're not green leaves.
What kind of trees?
I haven't heard that it matters too much. They said not pine, the pine straw, but yeah, I mean all of your deciduous should be fine. Yeah.
My compost bin is one that I crank and turn.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
It attracts a lot of bugs when I open it.
Yep, that's part of the process. And with the worms, unless you don't cover the food, which I made the mistake one time, that brought in some flies. And if you get fruit flies, ooh, is it a problem to get rid of them? Yeah. So you basically don't see any sort of vermin in you.
The worms don't eat flies.
No. Yeah. The bananas tend to rot pretty quickly.
Susan on Zoom can't hear.
Okay. The banana peels seem to rot quicker, and they go for things that are rotting. What I have seen is they seem to love corn cobs. They get inside the corn, and that takes months before it decomposes. The banana peels seem to go quite quickly. Yeah. They say it's about 6 months, which is why I like the trays, because I'm constantly harvesting. I'm harvesting at least once a month, but that's because I'm cycling through 5 trays.
Doesn't it depend on the temperature outside?
Well, see, mine's in the laundry room, so it's pretty constant. So yeah, it does. The colder it is, they tend not to eat as much, and if it gets too hot, then they start to not be happy. But they say you can like decrease the food when you go on vacation, and they'll survive. You don't want to overfeed them. If you overfeed them, that could be a problem. So the trays are basically, I didn't have a good picture of it. The tray is a square like this, and it has holes in it. So the worms can migrate up and down through the holes. So what you have is stacked trays. So I'll put, when you start, you start with fewer trays. But you put bedding and then your food on there. And then when that starts to turn into the dirt like you're seeing around there, then I'll just start a new bin with newspaper and put plants underneath, or the scraps. Yeah.
It fits on top.
It fits on top. They're stacked. And so some directions will tell you to buy 2 like plastic totes and stack them. Other people say you can just do 1. I did not want to do that. And the worms really will travel up and down. So another way of harvesting is you can put food in one bin, and the dirt on the top with light, and you disturb them, and they'll go down to the food to get away from the light.
One last question, then we're going to move on.
How much time do you spend a day? If I want to incorporate this in my life, how do you actually?
So what I have a bag in the refrigerator of scraps, and about twice a week I put them into the bin, and I harvest about once a month. So it's not real time consuming.
Yeah, I've done vermiculture, and it's just, the harvesting, can take you half an hour or so just to put some rubber gloves on and.
And then you use that to plant, for plants?
Yeah, you should see my
Yeah.
fiscus tree when I put this stuff
Yeah.
in. Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we could grow a whole new building with the vermiculture. Cynthia, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. They're here. We got them right here. They're here. They're making their way around. Yeah. They're very good. They're very good with hummus. So we're also very lucky to have with us tonight Chloe Wethington. Is that the way you pronounce your name, Chloe? She's the Urban Agriculture Project Manager of Foodwell Alliance, and we've been supporting Foodwell Alliance for some years with our family, the donations we make, and so what's interesting is, Americans, we waste a lot of food. And it's astounding how much food gets thrown into the garbage, which ends up in all kinds of landfills. The numbers sound like 20%, 27% of the food available for consumption is wasted. We generate 30 million tons of food waste every year, and so it's a significant problem. We have other problems, as you know, which has to do with plastics and other things we put into the earth, which are not biodegradable. And we are probably all sorely aware of the impact not only on the earth, but also on us, because those things break into micro kind of elements and end up in our bodies. And we just had the other night for the meal for Simchas Torah, we had GIPL, which is the Georgia Interfaith Power and Light. They came and did an assessment of everything that we threw away, all that was compostable, plastics, and things that were recyclable. It wasn't very much recyclable, but we had a lot of compostable plates, and all the food, the boxes, then the pizzas came in, and so that normally would have ended up in the trash. But it can be composted, and so we're taking a look here just as a synagogue. We don't do a lot of food here, but we do from time to time. Can we do it with a little more consciousness? So Chloe's an expert on this, and she's brought some things. She has a slideshow. So Chloe, why don't you come on up and please give her a hand.
Hello, y'all. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to talk about composting. I always am. I have probably about a good 2 hours of information that I can chat on, so shout out. No, I'm going to kind of give y'all a speed run through, kind of 10-minute quick why we bother composting and kind of how y'all can do it at home or here if you're interested in that. But yeah, so as Rick mentioned, we waste a lot of food in the U.S., but also when that food goes and sits in a landfill, it's unable to decompose in a natural way, and it ends up producing methane gas because of that, which, if you don't know, is an incredibly potent greenhouse gas emission, actually a good 20% times more potent than carbon dioxide, so it's a really big deal.
In other words, it messes with the ozone layer and our oxygen.
Yes. And landfills are the third largest producer of, or human-related producer of methane gas in the U.S. And composting, in my opinion, is one of the best things that we can do as individuals to make an actual impact on our environment. There's lots of things that big corporations, things are doing that we can kind of vote with our money with what we buy, but composting can actually take the food scraps and put it and compost it in our backyard rather than throwing it in a landfill and make an actual difference that we are 100% confident we're making a difference with. So kind of how do we do this? So first thing is what composting is. Y'all kind of seem to know what that is, but the definition of it is that composting is the controlled decomposition of organic matter. I really like to point out to people that you cannot mess up composting. Things are going to decompose out in the woods just like they would in your compost pile. So really the thing that you can do wrong, or anything that you can do wrong, is really just going to slow you down, really, than it is going to mess up your pile. It's just going to take a lot longer to get a finished compost product out of it. But we can do a lot of things to do it faster, to get that beautiful organic matter into our gardens sooner. So the biggest thing that we need to focus on when making a really good compost pile is what is actually breaking it down, and that's the decomposers in our soil. So, we've got worms, snails, slugs, all that kind of good stuff, mushrooms, fungi, but our biggest player in all of that is bacteria, those microorganisms. So our goal when we're composting is to make the bacteria as happy as possible, because when they're really happy, they reproduce a lot, they're really active, and they create a lot of heat, and that heat makes the pile break down really fast. And whenever we get up to really high temperatures, like 131 degrees Fahrenheit and up, that can kill potential pathogens in the pile, that can kill weed seeds, and of course, the hotter it is, the faster it's going to break down. So the goal is to build a mansion for the bacteria. So how do you do that? We've got 4 kind of basic ingredients or recipes to that. We have air, water, greens, and browns. So our air is super important because there's living things in the pile. Those microorganisms, they need oxygen just like us to survive. So to add air to the pile, we're just going to turn it regularly. So that just means stick a pitchfork in there, kind of fluff it up. You can move it to a whole nother location. You just kind of want to mix things up. You can also build it with a lot chunkier material when you first do. So like wood chips and twigs, that kind of creates more air pockets in the pile. Water is, and it's really important to have air in the pile because if there's not a lot of air, your pile is going to start to smell. And you don't want it to smell. You want it to have that nice, earthy, organic, subtle smell, not a stinky, rotting pile smell that your neighbors probably won't be a fan of. So next ingredient is water. Water is really important because that is what the microorganisms live in and move through. So if there's no water in the pile, then they can't get to all your food scraps to break them down. So your pile's just going to be sitting there not really doing much. So we want to have a nice balance, though. So if it's too dry, there's no microorganisms. They're dead. They're not doing much. If it's too wet, you've kind of made it the same no oxygen environment, and it's going to start to smell. And you don't want a wet, soggy mess. So the nice balance there is to just kind of have it to feel like a bit like a wrung out sponge if you take a handful of it. It should kind of clump together a little bit, maybe have a few drops, but that's your nice balance. So the next 2 things are what you're actually building your pile out of. That's your greens and your browns. Your browns are things that are really heavy in carbon. So lots of woody things. So that's leaves, wood chips, twigs, cardboard, paper, sawdust, all that kind of stuff are your browns. And then you have your greens, which are things that are really heavy in nitrogen. So that's like food scraps, coffee grounds. They are brown, but they're green. They're really heavy. They're high in nitrogen. They're a food. They kind of go in that category. Cow manure. Oh my God, I'm blanking. Lots of anything organic. Green leaves, garden waste, that kind of good stuff. So there's a balance between our greens and our browns too. So we want more browns in general than greens. So you're gonna have like the general rule of thumb is like a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every bucket of green that you add to your compost, you're gonna add 3 buckets of browns. And you wanna be sure you add your browns last because you wanna cover them. If they're uncovered, you have made a little buffet for the flies. They're not gonna do any harm, but they are annoying and you might not want them buzzing around in your backyard everywhere. So just cover them so that they can't get to that. Okay, so that is basically your 4 ingredients to make a really good compost pile. And I'm gonna quiz y'all now so that you know how to troubleshoot things and to prove that you know how to compost now. So if our pile is really smelly, what are 3 reasons why it might be smelly? It's too wet, not enough air, and then one of them I didn't directly mention, not enough browns. Perfect. So what are 2 things we could do that would fix that? Turn it and add browns. Perfect. So if you have a stinky pile, you know how to solve it. What if your pile's not breaking down? It's been 3 months and it looks exactly the same. It's too dry. Not enough green. Yeah, maybe there's not enough oxygen. Okay, perfect. So you've already, one solution is to turn it. What's something else can you do? Add some water. Yep. Add manure, yeah, add more greens. So you want to kind of play with that ratio. So again, the ratios are rule of thumb, but if you've been doing 3-to-1 and stuff's not breaking down, maybe mess with it. Try to do 2-to-1, 1-to-1, kind of see what happens there. Yeah, kind of, exactly. See what the happy mediums, mess with the balance. You're not going to know how to do it perfectly until you just go for it. But that's pretty much how to compost. Y'all know how to do it. The other thing to troubleshoot, which I haven't directly mentioned, so I'm just going to tell y'all, is pests. A lot of people are worried about composting they're worried it's going to attract rats, there's going to be flies everywhere, and let me tell y'all, it's not that big of an issue. It's okay. But some ways to avoid having rats is 1, just in your pile placement, where you decide to put it in your yard. So best thing to do is try your very best not to place it right up against a wall or a fence, kind of out in the open, preferably not under trees if you can help it. And that's just because rats won't feel safe getting to the pile. They'll feel really exposed. They're less likely to mess with it. And another way to prevent it is to just turn it frequently. Again, if you're messing with the pile a lot, they won't feel safe. It's not a nice little place to have a burrow. And then some other things with just where to put your pile. It's always good to try to put it somewhere level. That's just for you. It makes it easier to manage. Also good to put it near a water source. So if it's getting really dry, it's pretty easy to just drag a hose to water it down instead of having to carry a bunch of buckets back and forth. And also, I always say, y'all do not put your compost pile on concrete. Always put it on the earth because there's gonna be liquids coming off of the pile and you don't want a gross leachate coming off of your pile into your driveway or anything. So always put it on some earth. I also say, avoid pea gravel or any kind of gravel, really just because you're gonna get gravel all in your compost and that's just annoying when you're trying to pick it out to put it in your plants. So that's pretty much how to compost. The most basics of it, I could get really nerdy and sciencey in there, but I'm gonna show y'all a couple different systems for how to do it. The most basic one that I don't have a picture of is you can just make a pile in your yard. That's it, that's all you need to do. If anyone's not a fan of a pile in your yard for some reason or other, you can just bury it. You can make a trench. The only thing is when you make a trench, if you're wanting to plant in that spot at any time, just give it about a year. There's a lot of reasons for that. The big one is just there's gonna be so much microorganism activity going on with things composting under the soil here that it's actually gonna kind of rob your plants of nutrients. So let this totally break down and then you can plant there. These are my favorite. The one on my left is my absolute favorite. This is what I do at home. This is just a wire cattle panel, some kind of mesh, and it's like zip tied together to make a cylinder. This is great because it aerates the pile really well with the holes. It keeps it nice and tidy. It's really easy to pull off and kind of move around and turn it if you need to. And it's also really cheap, so that's my favorite. The one on the right is pretty similar. It's also kind of like a tower system. I kind of feel this or that about it. I just like to avoid plastic if I can, and it doesn't have a whole lot of aeration. But it's really nice and tidy, it's aesthetic. It's got, a lot of them have these little garage doors on the bottom that you can kind of pull finished stuff out. That kind of works. Sometimes it gets so matted down at the bottom that it's kind of hard to pull it off. You kind of have to just pull the whole thing up. But these still work great, and it's a nice way if you have a small space to kind of tuck it away. Okay, this is probably my least favorite way of composting, and I think some people's, it's the most popular whenever people are getting started. So the pros to this is that it's up off the ground, it's enclosed, so it really deters rodents or any kind of pests. So people are a really big fan of that. And another pro of it is that it's really easy to turn. So you can just, when you put stuff in there, just give it a swing, and you've turned it instead of having to get a pitchfork out. But because it is enclosed, it's very likely to get really wet really easily. So you have to be really, really mindful of that 3-to-1 ratio and be really careful you're not adding too much food scraps in here. People tend to add too much food scraps. 90% of the time when I open someone's tumbler, it's soup and there's maggots in there and it's gross. But if you do a really good job and you know what you're doing, this can still work from you. Kind of a pro, kind of a con. Some people really like these, again, because they're easy to turn. But when they get really full and heavy, if you've got a big one, they're really not easy to turn. You need like 2 or 3 people to kind of help you throw it. Another con is that they can be kind of small. They can't handle a lot of food scraps. So once it's full, and you kind of just have to let it finish. But they can be really great for when you're getting started and you don't have that much food scraps, and it's very easy to maintain. So not my favorite, but I still encourage people that if that's what they got, they should use it. The last one is a pretty popular way of composting. It's a 3-bin system. So It's basically just a really nice aesthetic way to keep your compost organized. This is one of Foodwell Alliance's ones that we build at like community gardens and schools, so it's really fancy. It's called the Knox composting bin, as in Fort Knox, to keep the rats out. We've got wire mesh all around on the inside, and those slats in the front kind of slide into grooves, so you can pull them totally out and have full access to the pile, so it's really easy to turn. But it also locks up nice and tight to keep things out. Basically how this works is you just have the first bin that you're adding things to, and then once it's full, you move it over to the second bin to let things fully decompose without new things getting added to them, and then you move it to the third when it's totally done to be like a storage space for the finished compost. You can just kind of go down the line with it. This can process a whole lot of stuff. It looks really nice, but it can be really time-consuming and expensive to build one. There are lots of other ways to build these, though. You can build them out of cinder blocks, out of pallets. Just be sure you're not using treated wood pallets. And that's basically it. So, oh, y'all, what not to compost? That's really important. So, obviously, not trash, no plastics, no rubber bands. You don't want to put poisonous plants in there. If you put poison ivy in your compost pile, you've just turned your compost pile into a giant poison ivy vine. So you want to avoid stuff like that, but you also want to avoid like pet waste. Like if you have a litter box, don't be putting your cat's litter into the compost pile. But that's the big stuff to not put in there. You'll see a lot of stuff online that says don't add pizza, don't add meat, don't add bones, dairy, meats, greases, all that good stuff. And that is confusing because these things are organic. They can return to the earth and become really good, healthy soil. The kind of trick in there is that those kind of things need those really, really high heats that I mentioned. They need that 131 degrees and above because these things are more likely to contain pathogens that need to be killed, and they're also more likely to have really pungent smells if they don't break down really fast and to attract things, and also because you just don't want a smelly backyard. So I tend to recommend for people when they're first getting started to just stick with the very basic kitchen scraps, garden waste, all that good stuff. And then if you feel like really getting nerdy on composting and devoting a lot of time to it, and you've seen if you get a thermometer and you've seen your temperatures hitting above that 131 pretty frequently, then go for it and start experimenting. But just dip your toes into the water really slowly. So, does anybody have any questions?
You mentioned about the pet waste, but you might have to repeat this for Susan who's watching on Zoom. But what about, like, I have some chickens, and so can I use that as part of the compost?
Yes, absolutely. Chicken shit is beautiful. Our neighbors, when we first moved into our neighborhood, offered to give us chicken shit as a housewarming present whenever they heard we composted. They still haven't. I'm really bummed. I need to go knock on their door. But yeah, it's great. It makes your pile heat up really, really fast. The reason that you don't add like dog and cat waste is because they're really likely to have lots of worms and things, and you just don't want to grow those more. And also lots of, they've taken all of their like shots and things at the vet, so you just kind of want to avoid having that soil. But you don't have to worry about that with chickens or cows or anything like that. Oh, I think one of y'all had your hand raised first.
What about vegetables that have been cooked?
Yes. People recommend when you're first starting to use uncooked things, just because those break down the fastest and they're the least likely to smell. But it kind of starts to go into that category of it's better to have really high heats, but those aren't to the point of meat where they're likely to have pathogens in it. So it's just kind of a good thing when you first start to do uncooked, just carrot tops, potato skins, and then kind of slowly start to work your way up.
Okay, so Rick was saying that Georgia Interfaith Power and Light came and had a look and said, oh, you can compost your pizza boxes, you know, we've got compostable plates, you see these cups, these plastic-looking things that are, oh, this is compostable. Like we took one of those plastic cups home and stuck it in our compost bin and pulled it back out 6 months later. It looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
So what's the story about compostable things that you pay a lot of money to buy and then do they compost?
Yes, but a lot of times you'll see in really teeny tiny print it says commercially compostable,
So what's the
which
difference?
means, so that just means that they really will only break down within a decent amount of time at a professional composting facility where it is their job to make the most perfect compost pile where things get super hot, super fast. And that heat is kind of what starts to break down those commercially compostable items. Now, they're not going to do any harm in your pile. They just might take forever in your home composting pile. Yeah, I could see it staying for a good couple of years, honestly. But yeah, it's not like plastic, it's not going to do any harm.
It's a different category when you're talking about, and it's something that, I know there are other synagogues in town that that buy the compostable stuff and then they contract with somebody to do it.
Yeah,
It's a different kind of category than what we're talking about.
exactly. And a lot of the commercial places, they'll take meat and bones and all those kind of crazy stuff that aren't typically recommended because they got it down. It's their job to manage a compost pile.
Okay. Let's do about 2 more questions, and then we'll have time at the the ONIG afterwards to ask Chloe more questions. Please go ahead, Steve.
My question is about the brown that you add to the compost. First question is, you said shredded paper?
Yeah, shredded paper.
Does that mean like paper with ink on it, like newspapers or?
Yes, you can use. Yeah, it's what I should tell you is you should only use black and white paper, and that you shouldn't use any colored ink. That's because nowadays most of black ink is soy based, so it's natural. There's not chemical stuff in there. So black and white paper is always good to use. But it's not recommended to add any kind of colored paper, anything with, yeah, no Sunday funnies, because those inks still tend to be really chemical based. I will still compost things just a little bit in small amounts sometimes personally, because I just don't want to throw it in the landfill. I'm kind of like, maybe a small dose is okay.
So, go ahead.
This time of year, there's lots of leaves, brown leaves.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the year, the other 10 months of the year, those brown leaves are not available. Is it possible to take a black garbage bag and store some of those leaves for those months when we don't have enough brown?
Yes, hoard them. Yeah, I'll sometimes go around collecting people's yard waste bags just to have more leaves for my compost throughout the year. So yes, store them. Only thing, if you're storing them outside, just be mindful that if you're leaving nice, dry browns outside, that is a nice little burrow for critters, a little place for them to make nests. So just be sure you're like moving them and messing with them, or just like keep them in a garage or closet or something. Yeah, you can keep them in a bag. But if you're keeping them outside in a bag, rats can chew through just about anything. So they can still get in there. I mean, they chew through that. I'd have to have a thick metal tin for them to not chew through it.
Steve, and then we'll stop.
Ground-based systems, how much rain is too much?
I don't really feel like there is too much rain. It's fine.
An intense rain or storm, which would not adversely affect.
Yeah, it's fine. One of those things, I mean, maybe it'll get too wet. So maybe just after it starts to calm down with how much it's raining, maybe just go mess with it, turn it, add some more browns to it. But it's not going to hurt the pile.
Give people just 1 minute on Foodwell Alliance so they know what you do there.
So Foodwell Alliance is a nonprofit in the metro Atlanta area. We have a 5-county service area around Atlanta, and we do a lot of support with urban agriculture, specifically with farmers and community gardens, to make sure that they have the resources to be as successful as possible. So that looks like volunteer days at farms and gardens, labor support stipends, infrastructure grants, compost grants and giveaways, lots of educational things like this, all kinds of things. We also have a school program where we help schools compost their food scraps on site and incorporate it into their curriculum to make it like a really sustainable practice at the school. And we also have a policy and planning team that works with one city every year around Atlanta to develop an agricultural plan based on community feedback to establish things like farmers markets and composting pilot plans and all that kind of good stuff. So we have a pretty broad reach in just about anything agricultural. And I have some kind of get to know you cards out here on the table if y'all want to check out our website and anything to see what else we do. I also have some resources for community gardens in case any of y'all are in community gardens, and also a pamphlet that has actually a lot more info on composting than what I just went over, so you can have some notes to go away with. But yeah, we also do lots of festivals. We have a soil festival that is going to be on May 16th next year. Do lots of educational workshops, plant sales, all that good stuff. And then we also do a fruit tree sale. I think it'll be on Valentine's Day this next year. So if you have any hankering for blueberry bushes or persimmons or pawpaw trees, we sell all kinds of stuff, and that money goes back into our orchard project where we plant fruit orchards all around Atlanta for anyone who wants them.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
So we're going to move into the Misha Berach. If you look at the back of your prayer book, should be a copy of it. And do we have a list of, we do have a list of names. You want to read that? And is there anyone that would like to acknowledge somebody that they would like us to? You want to do it in the middle? Okay,
So
I'll let
we'll-
you lead it. You lead it. Okay.
So what we often do is we sing the first part of it, and then we offer up names of people that you remembering for healing, and then I'll also read the names that we have here. So you'll find it. Is it on the handout as well as in the back of the?
It's not on the handout, so it should be in the back of the prayer book.
In some prayer books.
Some prayer
it's-
books
yeah,
have it, some don't.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, we probably all know it.
Mishaberach avotenu mechor habracha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. You want to offer up names? Yeah. Thank you. Scott Epstein, Victoria Isbister, John Isbister, Anna Levy Sprich, Dory Perling, Nancy Rosebloom, Melissa Sachs, Rabbi Zev Chaim Fire, Rich Teljohan, Randy Foster, Ava Kotlier, Susan Birch, Sarah Kablak, Mildred Anzalone, Rachel Hahn, Margie Osseroff, and Jean Kablak, Shirley Olafern, Joe Chansey, Susan Sugar, Robin Cox, Gertrude Bronstein, Dina Bat Chaya Umosha, Ellis Cohen, Julio Quintana, Margaret Moore, Shauna Jackson, and Michelle Jenny. Misha Berach imotenu mekor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We're going to do the Elenu, which you can find starting on page 121.
We rise again in body or spirit and face east. Aleinu l'shabak ladon hakol, latet gedola b'yotzeh bereshit, shenatan lanu Torah ha'temet, v'chaye olam nata betochenu, v'natu korim, u'mishtakabim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamalchim, hakadosh baruch hu. ככתוב בתורתך, עד ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, Ushamo Echad.
So we're going to move to the mourner's Kaddish on page 131. So we'll go around the room and see if there's anyone who is for.
People can be seated, and then people who
Can be seated, yeah.
might be mourners might
Yeah.
rise.
Yeah. So if you are remembering someone, if it's their yard site or you are mourning someone's recent passing, so we'll go around the room and see.
My dog passed.
Sorry to hear that. Yes. Anyone else? David Mann. Okay. Elaine Goldman. Okay. Anyone on Zoom? Susan? Do you have anyone that?
Yeah, Mimi, Hank,
So
Howard
I
Johnson,
can't,
and the hostages.
I think
Thank
we
you.
had you muted, unfortunately, Susan. Okay. Sorry.
She probably said Susan Udovin.
Okay, Susan Udovin. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And Paul.
Betty Rush and Hannah Yael.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Okay. And Carl Sachs, who just recently
Yeah.
passed. Okay. Yikadav v'yikadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Yama divra hirute v'yamlik malhute. V'hayahon u'neyahon hu'ehei dehol beit Yisrael. Bagala uzman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'mei yomai. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudusha barehu. Le'elam min kol birata v'shirata. Tush v'chata v'nechemata. Damiran v'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba b'it shemaya. V'yim aleinu v'yakol Israel. V'imru. Amen. Osei shalom imrumav. Uyasei shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Israel. V'yakol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. So we do the prayer for end of hiding. I was wondering if there's anyone who would be like to read the prayer for the end of hiding, who would be willing to do that. Please, Nancy, come on up. Yeah, come on up. You can come up here.
Wait a second, I need to put this down.
We can bring this up so you don't have to be.
That's okay. That's okay. As LGBTQ Jews, we are aware of the loss of integrity we suffer due to the pressures of the larger society. We often feel forced into a dishonest presentation of ourselves to ourselves and others. The LGBTQ individuals who feel they must pretend to be something they are not. The Jews who feel they must be alienated from their tradition and community to win the larger acceptance. Both are victims of a theft of identity and integrity committed by the sexual, gender-identifying, or religious majority. Creator of the universe, we ask that our hiding draw to an end, that we no longer feel we have to pretend, to promise falsely, to renounce ourselves, and that our fullest creative expression as Jews and as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people be among the blessings you bestow upon us. Amen.
So before we close the evening out, I've asked our resident poet, a poet in residence, to compose something original about composting. And Alan has been burrowing into the depths of the layers of his mind and has concocted something wonderful for us. So let's raise the mic, and then we'll close out with a final song. Thank you, Alan. Why don't
Thank
you
you.
announce the title?
All right. So Shabbat Shalom. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm also happy to introduce you to a character that I developed on the open mic circuit. Hearts were meant to give. Hands were meant to hold. That's how we're meant to live. Love does not grow old. My name is Beasley, Hamilton Beasley Jones. I'm a poet and a song stylist. My work is rooted in the British music hall tradition. Drury Lane, the Hippodrome, Canterbury Hall. And now tonight, on this sacred Let It Rot Shabbat, proudly and profoundly I say, I wish I were a worm. I'd wiggle and I'd squiggle and I'd wiggle and I'd squirm. And now, we all love the little worm from end to end. And I'm happy and proud this evening to introduce you to a little friend. I have him safely hidden in my inside pocket, where he lives close to my beating, iambically beating heart. Un momento, por favor. That's so continental. This is my friend Wormsworth. An ideal name for a poet who's gone underground. But please, Mr. Ginsberg, don't say the Kaddish quite yet. Well, Wormsworth, say hello to the nice people. What was that? Oh, that's not very polite. He said, what nice people. He's just kidding. See, his little tail is wagging. Now, I've written a poem just for Wordsworth, and I'm going to recite it for you this evening with my friend Wordsworth accompanying me in pantomime. My name is Wormsworth. I'm a worm. I wiggle and I squiggle and I wriggle and I squirm. I earn my worth. I work the earth, turning and turning and turning around. I allow the roots to grow deep in the ground. I tunnel and toil, enriching the soil, and with skill and with ability, I promote soil fertility. I get my action and derive satisfaction, maintaining soil drainage and reducing soil compaction. We went to Wikipedia for that. All right. I love the earth, and I am a worm, and that's why I squiggle and wiggle and squirm. Thank you. Thank you. I'm good for the gardener because I bring all of the little flowers that blossom in spring. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that was something else. At first, at CBH. Thank you so much, Alan. That was amazing. Thank you. We have, I think, a few announcements. Do you have them, Liza, I think? Please. Tough act to follow.
It's a tough act to follow. Welcome, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Congregation Bet Havarim, both to those of you here in person today and those of you joining us by Zoom. My name is Liza, and I am a representative at large on the board. Our deep gratitude for tonight's service. Thank you to service leaders Rick Stone, me, didn't do very much, but I'm on the list, Bill Witherspoon, Faith Russler, and with drumming accompaniment by Cliff Trammell. Thank you to staff member and Zoom host, Emily Anzalone.
Yay.
Thank you to our police officer, Joel Marshall. Thank you to our greeter, Ben Postel. Thank you to our ONEG sponsor, your membership at CBH.
The green team. The green team.
Oh, the green team. Oh, great. Thanks to the green team. I am so grateful for all the CBH members here tonight. Raise your hands if you're a member. Feel free to ask them about CBH. A few quick announcements. Tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. we'll celebrate Annabelle Aronson's Brit Mitzvah. Come cheer her on. On Sunday, October 19th at 2:30 p.m., join Voices for Comfort and Healing. It's a warm, no-audition singing group offering gentle harmonies to comfort those facing illness or loss. Everyone is welcome. Bring your furry friends to CBH on Saturday, October 25th at 10 a.m. We'll have a blessing of the pets. We invite all vaccinated, well-behaved animals. Advance registration is required.
Worms included.
And on Tuesday, October 28th at 7 p.m., Rabbi Josh presents What is a Rabbi and Do We Really Need One? On Zoom and in person here at CBH. Expect history, provocative questions, and a lively conversation.
It will actually be live as well, Elizabeth?
Yes.
And it's also a really important part of the discussion about
Our future, that's right. You can find our full schedule on the CBH website. Just click on calendar at the top of the webpage and it will take you to everything you need to know. Thank you for coming tonight and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Bill, you're going to help us out? We're going to finish up with Osei Shalom? Great.
Osei Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Hey! Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. La la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, hey, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Israel. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, v'imru, Amen. Shabbat shalom.